Hey everyone, as promised from my previous video from the MLE event I did, here's a free replay review I did for one of the members of the community that sits around Champ 1, Champ 2. For those that haven't watched that previous video where I played SSL ranked and just explained my thought process, I do these free events in the MLE community where you get to learn about my thought process, and then from there I do a giveaway for a free replay review. And you can learn about that in the description of my video if you want to kind of be involved in the MLE community or you want to sign up for my Academy program. But all of this ties into the Academy program, which is a paid subscription program that I provide consistent weekly coaching for every month. And that's for the price of just a singular one-on-one lesson that you would normally get from me or someone else in RLCS or that has RLCS coaching experience. If you're interested in this, make sure to check it out in my Discord as well as the description below. As always, feel free to reach out with questions, but let's hop into the analysis from that event. So the way these replays work, loading? Okay, it's loaded. The way these replays work, or the way it works in the academy, for those that might be interested or those that are just listening today, is I will go through replays, and usually it's going to take me in an hour, right? Like, let's say you booked an hour session. To get you the concepts you need, it probably only takes me 15 to 20 minutes. So because of that, the rest of the 40 minutes is just me showing you a bunch of examples over and over again, just beating a dead horse, or just kind of wasting your time and honestly my time, which is what inspired the program. This way, I can get you the information you need, 15 to 20 minutes, send you off. And instead of paying for an hour, right, you're paying for 4 weeks of coaching. So you can show up every week and get something new. And instead of me giving you like 5 things to work on, you just get one a week. And then it keeps things guided, consistent, and that's the best way to practice because then you're not overloaded and you get consistent feedback, which is super important. So the way this replay works is we'll go through it. We're going to look for one theme, just one thing that you can do better, and then we're going to send you off and it's going to be up to you to work on it. I do in the academy have a training guide of like how to apply the information. I won't be providing that here today. But if you were in the academy, then afterwards I would show you how to apply the information, or there'd be a channel that provides you all the information you need on how to apply the information to the best possible manner. Now, you can still apply the information I give you, right? It's information that I'm giving you in terms of like you're going to understand it, but it's going to be easier to apply it with the training guide just because it makes things more digestible. With that being said, let me pull you up into the audience because when you are doing coaching, everyone else that's watching will be in the audience and they can ask their questions, but you get to talk to me. So I will pull you in here. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So we'll go through it. Sometimes I'll ask you questions. If you want to interrupt me, ask me questions, feel free to do so. This is your time. You get this. Um, so with that being said, we'll get started, and then I'll give you one takeaway. I would recommend you take some notes. I will record this and post this on YouTube another time, but it probably won't be for a while, so it's probably better just take some notes. Um, but let's get started here and look at this threes replay. What rank is this, by the way?
Uh, this is a private match. I was scrimming when my teammates wanted me to scrim their other team, so we was helping them with that.
Okay,
But it's AL, so
okay. Wait, good, right there. Boom, turn towards your net. Talked about that all day. That's perfect. Okay, so this is good in terms of your turn towards your net.
yeah, the
Afterwards, right here,
clear.
you did a really good job of waiting until you made a bad touch, right? Like the touch got away from him and you decided to jump. It's just important that when you do this, you want to try and make a controlled touch. And what you end up doing is you single jumped. So because of that, you flipped. And let's say that you did save this, right? Let's say you didn't own goal and you save this. You would have just boomed this into your corner and back out to your opponents. Compared to when you're in these positions where you need to make a save, you want to try and make a controlled touch to your corner or controlled touch wherever. So instead of flipping, try to hold your flip. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So either don't flip or just double jump and then you don't have the flip or fast aerial. Because if you had fast aerialed there, then you would have gotten to it a little bit quicker. So then you would have not hit it here. You would hit it a little bit earlier and then it would have went to your corner. And it would have been softer, probably rolled up the wall, and then you could follow it. So we'll see if that's a consistent issue or across the board, the flipping or trying to jump too much. Because that does tend to happen for a lot of people is they flip too much. Like there, that's fine, right? You're flipping towards the boost, not a big deal. Right here, totally fine for you to flip, right? You're taking a shot, really, really well placed. Yeah, let's see what you do here. Good recovery too, right here. Like This was good for you not to flip. I do think it probably would have been better if you see him jump to try and make a touch more to the left, like trying to, as you get closer to the play, like right here. So not
Mm-hmm.
here, but a little bit back here, try to turn, and then you could have popped it around him. Or if you know he's going to dunk you, then go behind the ball and just take a single jump 50, and then he'll probably just flop over your head like that. And then you can just power through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because there, as you go up the wall, it allows him to kind of pinch it off your car. And then afterwards, though, this was really good. You recovered on the ground quickly. If you want to jump, you can, but since you saw him hitting it to your corner, you don't have to. What I will say in terms of the flipping is as soon as you land right here and you see him making that touch, where should you go?
Probably back post,
Yeah,
maybe.
right? You don't have to go necessarily all the way back post, but let's zoom out for a second. We should at least go in the direction, right? So the ball's probably going to get hit somewhere over here. We're going to do a range, right? The ball's going to get hit over here. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And your teammate's going to turn into this space, so you don't need to also join him. So it'd be better if it's fine for you to drive through it slightly. You go this way, so that if, let's say, it goes in the space and there's a mid pass, then you can cut it off. Or if there isn't a mid pass, then you can rotate here, or you could even rotate like that, depending on how urgent you are needed. If it's staying static in the corner, you can rotate back post. If it's like looking like your teammate might get beat, then you rotate front post. But what you did is you kind of flip towards the front post, and now you see how you're kind of awkward. Like your momentum isn't facing the right direction, and then
Yeah.
the read's a little bit harder, and then you just get beat. And then you see how I was talking about that midfield coverage right there?
Mm-hmm.
No one's there. But that could have been you. Let's go back for a second with what I just talked about. Then watch this replay ahead of time, just kind of how Rocket League tends to play out, is if you had rotated here, my line just got very skinny. If you had rotated here, then he would be going, you see how he has more momentum and he has more time to kind of react instead of
Yeah.
you being underneath the ball. So he could be the one pushing up, and then you could be here, and then as he challenges, you can either go like this, or you can push up this way, depending on how it plays out, right? So when you see this guy start to, let's say that, oh, I've messed up the camera. Okay. Let's say that your teammate, he's the one challenging, not you, right? So this guy is over here,
Mm-hmm.
and you are right here. As you see this play out, you're going to see, okay, he could shoot it over my teammate's head, so I'm going to keep driving this way so that if it gets shot, you can save it. But then, as you see him make the touch, you see how you can easily just adjust your path,
Yeah.
and then you're going to be able to intercept this. So as it comes out, you could just shoot it over everyone's head, or if we think about it from that two's perspective of trying to like push people, like push the ball towards your teammate who just pushed up, if your teammate's over here, then you could also hit it over to him, and then you can push down the field that way. But because you rotated front post, this guy ended up having not much momentum, so he can't really get to this, and he has to chase after it, which isn't ideal. And that gives this guy time to get back versus a counter attack that you could have had. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's go back to your perspective. After that, this is good, this is good. Picking up pads, really good job. Teammate scores, perfect, okay. See what we do here? Good. There, that time you hit it around him, right? So that was good. Where you went away from him. Might have hit a little bit too hard, but that's okay. Then this guy missed, so we keep challenging. Good job to single jump and not flip. Here, if you're not going to go, as you see the ball start to adapt, don't be like so hard stuck in your rotation. It's almost like the scenario over here that we just talked. Why did it get skinny again? It's almost like that situation we were talking about where you know you're not needed, so you rotated
Mm-hmm.
back post. Here, as the ball goes this way, you're awkward, you don't have boost. So instead, change your rotation and pick up these two pads and go behind your teammate and let him go. Because otherwise, what you end up doing is you're like holding up the line because they expect you to go and you're not going, and you see how that allows him to go.
Yeah.
Versus if we look at your teammate's perspective, I don't know which one. Let's look at this guy, maybe. Oh, Roz is the first one. Right here. If he had noticed that you were behind him, then he could have just driven over here. And then right here, caught it, rolled it up the wall, countered. But he ended up like rotating because he thought you were going to go, and then you didn't go. And you didn't go because you were awkward, which is totally fair. But you need to
Mm-hmm.
look at that ahead of time and realize, hey, I'm not really the most useful person to go. Like Roz should just continue to go for it right here, or turn back, and you should go behind him. Because there we just allowed that guy to shoot for nothing, and then we're wasting our boost, and then you just sent that man. He's gone. Again, you see how awkward you are now for the next like five
Yeah.
seconds. It's all because of this rotation. You're confused, you're lost, and it keeps going, right? Your front post, you're like, what the fuck's happening? And then you end up clearing it out, but we're just giving it away. It's like this whole moment. It's like yes, there's stuff for us to talk about, but the main
Mhm.
issue is the way that you rotated, and then none of that would have happened. So if you're not able to do much with the ball and you got people behind you, your best bet is to not be there. Just let someone else take it. Now, if there's no one behind you, right, you should challenge. Because then if you don't, you're gonna get scored on. But if there is someone behind you, you probably can just leave it for someone else. Again, you see you're doing it again. So maybe this is the biggest theme. It's not the jumping thing that we talked about earlier. It looks like it's
Yeah.
more of this, where every single time you don't like accomplish something, which is okay. You're not always gonna accomplish something, but it's your
Mhm.
turn to like rotate back. Look where you go every time. What are you gonna do over here? Look how awkward you are.
Nothing.
You're gonna dunk your teammate right there. If he hits it into you, you would have just centered it for them, and you just stopped
Mhm.
him. He has no momentum. You're not facing the same like direction as the play. You're like super awkward. You missed. You got scored on there. You didn't get scored on, but you should get scored on. Compared to,
Yeah.
let's go back, right? And let's pretend I'm you, right? Like right here, totally fine for you to turn this direction. Like it happens. Ideally, you turn this way, and then if this guy pushes up, you bump him. If he doesn't, then you just drive, you drive, you drive, you drive, you drive, you drive, you drive. Boom, you're here. Okay, you start to push up. I probably drove a little faster than your car, so let's go back. Okay, let's say you're here. You probably have to avoid this bump. You probably don't go for this. Boom, you catch it. Oh my god, where are they? Oh my god, you're gone. You just dusted everyone. Look at that. Because this guy's out of the play. This guy jumped like an absolute psychopath, and this guy's in the corner. So if you just caught that, you don't even have to do the elongated path I did. You could have literally just
Drill to the girl.
put your controller down and just fucking drive it in. But it's all because you rotate incorrectly, and there you got really lucky you didn't get scored on. Like that's good you made that touch, but why did it need to be that difficult? That's the question we should ask ourselves. Pushing up for the boost, really good idea. Then we go back. That's good. This time it was fine for us to cut, right? Because we actually went for it. Did we go for it because the boost was there? Probably, but at least we went that time. Again, same thing. You see how you're
Yeah.
rotating.
But yeah, nah.
Like right here, you're not needed. There's Rose, and you're just kind of you just stopped them, and now you're both out of the play, and now you're front post. Oh, actually, we're back post now, so that's good. It ended up working out, but we also kind of just stopped our teammate from being able to do much. Good, really good touch. Doing a solid job of controlling the ball when you're on it, other than like the beginning goal, right, where we jumped a little funky, and that might have just been a mechanical error that's not consistent with how you normally play. But outside of that, look again, you just did it again. We're not even facing like every single time you do this. The worst part is you flipped, so like now you're not even facing the play. If your teammate were to get dunked or something happens here, like you're in a very you would have been in a very weird position. So after this 50, it's the same idea. Go for the boost, that's totally fine, but here turn and go behind.
Yeah.
Or go cover the midfield, because over here you're not covering much. We would have done it again there, but the dude bumped us the other direction, so that encouraged us to not do it. And look at that, because you're over here, you also get an opportunity for a pass. Wasn't a very strong pass, but we had the opportunity for it. Good catch, love it. Good flick, love it. Good 50, love it. Beautiful. On the ball, you seem to do a good job. I think it's really just off the ball the way you rotate. Like there, that was fine. That was good rotation. Probably could have picked up some pads, but other than that, it was fine. So on the ball, I'm really not worried about you. It's really off the ball, man. You're just rotating back into the play so much, and it's a very simple thing, but it is a big difference maker because you're missing out on opportunities. You're making your life harder, and it's the root cause of a lot of problems because then it makes mechanics harder, makes you have to do harder mechanics to make the correct play when you're in a weirder position, and then you also miss out on
Yeah.
things like that open net from earlier that you should be up 3-1 right now. Let it run and see anything else here. But I think we found our thing for the day. It's fine. Job cutting back in mid here in case your teammate can pass. I like that. And then right here we go. Love it. That's really good. 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 Love it. Oh, misread. But the idea is right. Totally fine for you to go for that. No problem with that. I'm never really gonna judge you or be mad at you for messing up mechanics.
Hmm.
This was fine for you to rotate front post because the guy is gonna rotate back, so you can play closer. Like that's totally fine. But if he was already in front, then I would want you to rotate back. It's just because you see him rotating so far away. Good pop back. Good idea. Good cut. Or good force, even if you don't get a touch on the ball. Oh, we missed the boost. That's catastrophic. Oh, it's even more
Yeah,
catastrophic that you went back for it. Right here, after you miss it, just give up on it. It's not worth it.
yeah, yeah. Both
You got
fucked me up.
very lucky you didn't get scored on there, and you end up getting scored on. Oh, both their goals have been own goals. Yeah, so the flipping really actually isn't that much of a problem. It was the initial thing I saw, but in the end, this replay really comes down to just the way you rotate after, like you make a play. So you did it there again too. It's like we're even ignoring our teammates there. Like you saw him for a second, you know that he's back and he can get it, and he can hit it to the corner. You're just kind of hitting it back out, which isn't really ideal. Just kind of cut him off. We force. This is good. Good, good. Love it. Oh, they score 0 second goal. Well, you did your job to force. That was good. But your overall theme is we need to, as we make our touch, as first man, if we're not following it, when we're rotating, we need to make sure we're not turning right back into the play. And if we do initially, that's okay, but we need to recognize it and then eventually go away. Because you're turning back into your corner, your front post a lot, and it causes you to be really awkward. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So I would just focus on every single time you rotate back, try and find some pads that rotate you, not necessarily directly the back post, but just in that direction. And then if you're needed, then you can turn. If you're not, then you just go to the back post. Does that make sense too?
hmm.
Perfect. Any questions?
Uh, I don't think so.
Boom. So
It's definitely helped me out a lot, though.
that's
I needed a coach.
yeah. So that's all I got for you. If questions do come up, feel free to DM me. I'm happy to answer them. But I think that's the next logical step for you. After that, like after you start to get this done, if you want to do something else, feel free to go to the academy thing and you can join that way. But this is like your starting point. Once you get this done, I think you're gonna have a lot more space and opportunity to like do things. Because when you rotate awkwardly,
Yeah.
you miss out on opportunities, and you also have to like do more mechanically than you should. So it'll make your life easier and open up some new opportunities that you might not have had before. That concludes today's analysis. If you're looking to get coaching that looks like this, head to my Discord for more information on my Academy program. Thanks again for watching. Comment below with any questions.